Welcome to Alien Eve. New sci-fi stories arrive every 4 hours. If you want these journeys to continue, your support means everything. For long listening sessions, check out the playlist and enjoy the universe.
On the 32nd day of the Vehlorian dig, I discovered two things simultaneously. The ancient star maps carved into the obsidian walls were at least 5 millennia older than predicted, and the Vehlorian princess had apparently decided I was interesting enough to study like a lab specimen. Neither discovery improved my ability to breathe. Princess Kaethira walked into the observation tunnel with the kind of effortless grace that made me instantly aware of my own limbs, specifically how I had too many and used all of them incorrectly. She didn't arrive with guards, advisors, or even an assistant, just appeared, silent, elegant, beautiful in a way that made my human brain run buffering animations. "You are cataloging alone again," she said, her voice calm and resonant in that alien way where every syllable feels like it vibrates too close to your ribs. "Humans prefer isolation when concentrating." "Yes," I lied immediately. "Absolutely, we love isolation. It's our favorite hobby, right behind taxes." She blinked once. "Taxes. Never mind." Her eyes, silver blue, shifting like moonlight hitting water, studied me with focused curiosity. Not hostile, just intense enough to make my spine question its commitment to standing upright. I cleared my throat and pointed at the star map etched across the wall. These markings suggest the Vehlorian migration didn't begin in the northern hemisphere, but here, southwest sector, near the volcanic belt. Kaethira stepped closer, too close. Like if I leaned forward even a little, we'd be sharing the same oxygen molecule. Her hair brushed my shoulder, a soft, metallic white that shimmered with faint bioluminescent streaks. My brain promptly forgot every known language, including the one I was speaking. "You avoid me," she said quietly, instant panic. "What? No, I don't avoid, I strategically relocate." She tilted her head slightly, her long, pointed ears angling forward, a gesture I'd learned meant focused attention or irritation. Hard to tell. Alien ears were like emotional traffic lights with all the bulbs installed wrong. "You leave rooms when I enter," she continued. "You switch excavation sectors whenever I arrive. Yesterday, you pretended not to hear me when I stood 3 meters behind you. I didn't see you," I protested. "You tripped over a toolbox while fleeing." "Okay, she had me there. It rolled toward me," I muttered. "It was bolted to the floor." Silence. I considered several excuses, all terrible, before defaulting to the truth-adjacent version. "I just get nervous around royalty." Her expression didn't change, but her ears did, tilting slightly downward. Confusion, disappointment, alien body language needed a manual. "I am not here as royalty," she said softly. "I am here as cultural liaison, and as someone who finds your work." She hesitated, searching for the right word. "Fascinating." My heart executed a suspiciously athletic maneuver. "That's flattering," I managed. "Unexpected." "But flattering." Kaethira stepped even closer, so close I could see the faint constellation-like flecks in her irises. "Then why," she said, voice now low and direct, "do you retreat when I approach?" I opened my mouth, closed it. Opened it again, nothing good happened. Her gaze didn't waver, neither did she. "You misunderstand," I blurted. "I'm not avoiding you because I dislike you. I'm avoiding you because I don't want to." I stopped myself before saying something catastrophically honest. But Kaethira's expression sharpened. "Don't want to what?" I considered lying. I considered sprinting. I considered faking a medical emergency. Instead, I whispered, "Make things weird." "Weird how?" "I wish the ancient Vehlorians had installed escape hatches in their ruins." "You're distracting," I admitted, "in ways that are definitely not professional." A long silence followed, the kind that makes your life flash before your eyes, but only the embarrassing parts. Kaethira stared at me, eyes wide, ears angling forward in what looked suspiciously like surprise. "Humans find me distracting." "Oh, trust me," I said, giving up entirely on dignity. "It's not just humans. If the star maps could talk, they'd be distracted too." A sound escaped her, a soft, startled laugh, a Vehlorian princess, laughing because of me. I wasn't emotionally prepared for this. "You feared offending me," she said slowly, realization dawning across her features. "That is why you run." "Technically, I don't run," I corrected weakly. "I relocate briskly." Another laugh, small, genuine, and noticeably flustered. "Human," she said, stepping close enough that her breath warmed my jaw. I do not wish you to relocate. Princess Kaethira did not observe in the normal sense. Normal people observe with their eyes, maybe with curiosity. Kaethira observed with the intensity of a deep space sensor array scanning for gravitational anomalies, which made it very hard to pretend I was not aware that she was 2 steps behind me, silently watching while I tried to translate inscriptions that were suddenly far more seductive than they had been 5 minutes earlier. I aimed my portable light at the carved sigils. I aimed my soul anywhere but her. Your hands shake, she noted softly. That's a human thing, I said. Technically true, humans shake. Usually not this violently, but details are flexible. She stepped closer. I felt the temperature shift behind me, the faint brush of her bioluminescent hair near my shoulder. You are nervous. Not a question, an observation delivered like a scientific discovery. No, I lied. Humans lie poorly, I lie catastrophically. You are nervous, she repeated. Yes, I whispered. Kaethira moved around me, standing directly in front of the sigil wall, close enough that the soft glow of her facial markings illuminated her cheekbones in pale silver arcs, close enough that I could see the tiny stars reflected in her eyes. This inscription is Vehlorian poetic form, she said. It references our ancestral journey through the void seas. It translates approximately to... She paused, I blinked. To what? Her ears angled forward in a way that did not look particularly scientific. It says, she murmured, one who flees the starfare will be chased by it twice as fiercely. I stared at the sigils, then at her, then back at the sigils. That's very pointed ancient wisdom. Indeed, she said calmly. Interesting how relevant it is today, here, now. Oh my God, I whispered. The ruins are roasting me. She looked almost amused. The script is merely descriptive. It reflects patterns in behavior. Right, I muttered, patterns. Such as a human archaeologist notoriously, avoiding a very powerful alien princess. Her gaze sharpened, notorious. I shut my mouth so fast my teeth clicked. Kaethira stepped closer. Tell me the truth. Why does my presence unsettle you so deeply? I froze, every survival instinct I had screamed, do not answer that. My mouth, meanwhile, had committed to sabotage. You look at me. She blinked. I am looking at you now. No, I mean, you look at me like you're actually interested in what I'm saying. People don't usually do that. Kaethira tilted her head slightly. Others do not look at you. Not like that, I said quietly. Not like I'm worth listening to. A small silence, her expression softened just a fraction. Human, she said gently. When I look at you, I see clarity. You speak of ancient things as if they still breathe. You make dead stone feel alive. Of course I look at you. My heart forgot how to function properly. And, she added far too casually, your reactions are endearing. My reactions, the way your voice rises when you panic, the way your eyes widen when I stand close, the way you drop tools when I touch your arm. I swallowed loudly. That happened once. 4 times, she corrected. Okay, she had data. Your avoidance, she continued, confused me at first. But now I believe I understand. You do? Yes. She stepped close enough that the tips of our boots touched. Her voice lowered. You are attracted to me. I made a sound that could only be described as a dying modem. Kaethira's lips parted in a small smile, slow, knowing, devastating. It is not offensive, she said, nor unwelcome. I blinked rapidly. It's what? Unwelcome, she repeated. It is not. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out except a high, embarrassing squeak that absolutely could not be categorized as language. She watched me, clearly enjoying every frame of my internal meltdown. Then, softly, carefully, she touched my wrist with 2 fingers. A Vehlorian gesture of invitation. You do not need to flee. Her eyes lowered to my mouth for half a breath, then lifted again. You are safe with me. Safe with her, a princess who could command fleets. A woman whose presence short-circuited my neurons like faulty wiring. But I believed her. Okay, I whispered. Kaethira stepped back just enough to give me space, respectful, patient, still watching with that steady, luminous intensity that I spent the next 2 hours attempting to behave like a normal, functioning archaeologist. Unfortunately, Princess Kaethira existed, which made normal statistically impossible. I tried focusing on the inscriptions. They blurred. I tried steadying my breathing. It got worse. I tried not dropping anything. I dropped everything. At one point, I wasn't even holding anything, and I still managed to make a clatter loud enough to echo through 3 chambers. Kaethira didn't turn around, but I saw her shoulders shake slightly, Vehlorian for suppressed laughter. very dignified, very queenly, very unfair. When she finally rotated to face me again, her expression was calm, collected, and completely at odds with the faint amusement glowing in her eyes. "You are quiet," she said. "I'm always quiet," I insisted. "You are more quiet than usual." "That's because every time I speak, I accidentally flirt or confess." Kaethira blinked slowly. "This is unwanted." "Yes, no, I don't know. My brain is in rice right now." A soft exhale, half laugh, half pity. "Perhaps a break," she suggested. "A break sounds great," I said, relieved. "Yes, excellent air, water. Privacy to scream internally." "I will accompany you." "What? Accompany you?" "Humans require supervision when emotionally destabilized." "Who told you that?" "The medical officer." "I would be having words with the medical officer." Loudly. Kaethira stepped beside me, gesturing toward the tunnel that led back to the main hall. I followed, mostly because my legs were obedient, but also because she walked like gravity bent itself politely around her. Halfway down the corridor, she said, "Your face changes color when you are embarrassed." "That's a human feature," I muttered. "It is charming." "Great, I'm a mood lamp." "Yes," she said thoughtfully, "a small, anxious mood lamp." I groaned. She smiled openly now, and the effect was devastating. When we entered the main hall, the other researchers discreetly pretended not to stare. Emphasis on pretended. The linguistics team paused mid-sentence. Someone dropped a data pad. Someone else whispered, "Oh my God, they're finally talking." Kaethira ignored all of this and walked to the supply alcove. She retrieved a container, filled it with purified water, and handed it to me with ceremonial precision. "For hydration," she said. "Thank you," I said. I attempted to drink like a human person. I failed immediately. Water went down the wrong pipe, and I entered a coughing fit so violent I briefly believed I was being exorcised. Kaethira stepped closer. "Are you dying?" "Not yet," I wheezed. She placed a hand between my shoulders, gently at first, then with steady pressure that somehow reset my respiratory system. "Better." "Better," I croaked. Her hand didn't move. I absolutely noticed, so did everyone watching from a distance. "Kaethira," I murmured. "Yes." "You're still touching me." She withdrew her hand quickly. Vehlorian ears flicking upward in a flash of embarrassment, she clearly did not expect me to detect. "I apologize," she said softly. "You don't have to apologize," I said. "I just noticed." "Did you dislike it?" "No," I said immediately, too immediately. Kaethira's ears angled forward in unmistakable interest. "Then the contact was welcome." "Ugh." She stepped closer again. "So," she said carefully, "we may establish parameters." "Parameters?" "Yes." She folded her hands behind her back. "For our interactions, to prevent misinterpretations. If you wish, we may clarify what types of physical proximity are acceptable." My brain, already heavily compromised, simply combusted. "You want to create a physical closeness rule book for us?" "Yes, for efficiency." "This feels like the opposite of efficiency." She tilted her head. "Then you do not want such proximity." "I didn't say that," I whispered. Silence, a long electric silence. Then Kaethira stepped closer, slow, deliberate, leaving only a hand's breadth between us. "Then," she said in a voice that vibrated through my bones, "you must be explicit. Humans are difficult to read. I require clarity." I swallowed. "Oh, okay. What do you want clarity on?" she asked. I inhaled, I exhaled. I panicked, I survived, barely. "I want you to stop assuming you're bothering me." Kaethira blinked. "I want you to understand," I continued, "that the reason I avoid you is because I'm overwhelmed. Not uninterested, never uninterested." Her lips parted slightly. Her ears angled forward, slowly this time like sunrise. And I added quietly, "If you want to stand close, you can. If you want to touch my arm, you can. I'm not running anymore." Kaethira's voice dropped low. "Good." She moved closer, so close our shoulders brushed, and whispered, "Then I will know if there was one universal truth across the galaxy, it was this. The deeper the ruins, the tighter the chambers became." Which was fantastic for archaeology and absolutely terrible for anyone trying not to stand 4 centimeters from a breathtaking alien princess. The doorway into Chamber 9B was narrow, Vehlorian-sized, not human-sized. Kaethira entered first, turning slightly sideways. When I tried to follow, she glanced back, eyes glinting with what could only be described as deliberate mischief. "You may enter," she said. "That makes it sound like a trap," I muttered. "It is simply a doorway." "No doorway requires ominous tone." She smiled, small, dangerous, gorgeous. Come, human, I will not let you become stuck. Challenge accepted. I stepped forward and immediately realized two things. The passage was much narrower than anticipated. Kaethira had stopped halfway through it. I collided with her, full body, face to shoulder, shoulder to chest. Chest to... Never mind. Her bioluminescent markings flickered in surprise, casting thin ribbons of silver blue across the stone. She didn't move away. Neither did I. You are close, she said, voice significantly lower than normal. I blame the architecture. So do I, she murmured, deeply. The space was so tight that my breath stirred a strand of her hair. She felt it. Vehlorian hearing was unnervingly sensitive. Her ears angled forward, a slow, controlled movement that told me she was very aware of exactly how close we were. I should step back, she said. You can't, I replied. The wall is behind you. Then you should step back. I can't, I admitted. My jacket is caught on a rock. A beat of silence. Convenient, Kaethira whispered. I swear I didn't do it on purpose. I know, she said, leaning in. Humans are incapable of subtle manipulation. Hey, I mean this as compliment. Pretty sure it's not. It is, she insisted. Your honesty is refreshing, also disarming. Her gaze dropped to my mouth. Mine dropped to hers. A dangerous gravitational pull formed between us. Then mercifully or tragically, depending on interpretation, the rock pinning my jacket shifted, releasing me with a rough scrape. Kaethira took a careful breath and stepped into the chamber proper, leaving me to reassemble the shattered remains of my composure. I would like to discuss earlier, she said, inspecting the mural. Your statement that proximity is acceptable. Yeah, I said, clearing my throat. I remember that vividly. She glanced over her shoulder. Do you regret saying it? No. Do you wish to amend it? No. Do you wish to expand it? My soul left my body. Kaethira, what exactly are we defining? She walked toward me, slow, deliberate, silent as starlight. Her presence filled the chamber until the air felt heavier, warmer. We are establishing whether certain boundaries may be relaxed. Which boundaries? She stopped directly in front of me. Physical, conversational, emotional. I made a noise that could be interpreted only as help. Kaethira lifted a hand, hesitated, then let her fingertips graze my forearm. The touch was feather-light and still sent a full electrical surge through my nervous system. This level of contact, she said softly, is acceptable. Yes, I whispered. She slid her hand upward just slightly, tracing the seam of my sleeve. And this. Yes, I breathed. She withdrew then, but not far, just enough to force eye contact. Then no more running. I'm not running. No, she agreed. Today you walked into me instead. That was situational. Kaethira's smile widened. It was informative. Informative. Yes, it clarified several things. For example, she stepped closer again, that you respond strongly to proximity. I tried to swallow, failed, and, she continued, that I do as well. Everything inside me went still, then warm, then dizzy. You respond strongly? I asked, her voice dropped to a low whisper. Very. For a long, breath-suspended moment, neither of us spoke. Then the portable scanner I'd clipped to my belt fell to the floor with a dramatic clang. Kaethira laughed, loudly this time, head tilting back, markings glowing brighter with delighted pulses. You continue to drop things when I am close. Yeah, well, I said, picking it up. You continue to stand close when I drop them. She considered this, then stepped even closer, close enough that her breath warmed my cheek. Correct, she murmured. I do. I forgot all words. All languages, all archaeology, everything, except her. Come, she said after a moment, voice soft but steady. The deeper chambers of the Vehlorian ruins felt different. Not colder, not warmer. Just heavier, as if the walls remembered every emotion ever felt inside them and were politely asking us to contribute our share. Kaethira walked ahead of me, moving with that silent, predatory grace that made my footsteps sound like a small parade behind her. Her bioluminescent hair cast faint ripples of silver blue across the walls, lighting the narrow path like a private galaxy she carried with her. We are nearly there, she said. Where exactly are we going? I asked. A place Vehlorians call the Chamber of Resonance. That sounds ominous. It is not ominous, she said. Everything you say sounds a little ominous. She paused, tilted her head back at me, and said with perfect seriousness, Good. I swallowed. Right, perfect, not terrifying at all. The corridor widened into a circular chamber, with a ceiling so high the light barely reached it. The walls were covered in thousands of carved symbols, spirals, arcs, star lines interwoven like a cosmic heartbeat. At the center stood a raised platform. Kaethira stepped onto it and then extended a hand toward me. "You may join me." I looked at her hand, I looked at the platform, I looked back at her hand. "Is this safe?" "Yes." "Are you 100% sure?" "No." "Okay, great," climbing up. I took her hand, warm, steady, slender, and stepped onto the platform. The second my boots touched the stone, a soft hum vibrated through the floor. "What is that?" I whispered. "The resonance," she said, voice reverent. "This chamber responds to emotional presence. It amplifies the intentions of those who stand upon it." "Oh," I said, "so like a mood amplifier." "Yes, that feels dangerous." Her eyes gleamed. "It can be." "When you say dangerous, do you mean?" Before I could finish, the air around us shifted. The carved symbols on the floor began to glow faintly. The hum intensified, not loud, but deep enough to settle into my bones. Kaethira watched me carefully. "You feel it," she said. "Yeah," I breathed. "It's like the room knows something is happening." "It does." "What exactly does it know?" "That we are not here for purely academic reasons." That short-circuited every neuron I owned. "Oh." Kaethira stepped closer, slowly, as if giving me time to flee, which I absolutely wasn't going to do. "The chamber of resonance reveals emotional truth," she said softly. "It is used for clarity, for decisions that must be made without pretense." "Decisions?" I echoed, voice embarrassingly thin. "Yes." She stopped just one breath away from me, and I wished to understand something. "What?" "You," she said, fully. My brain melted, gone, vaporized, atomic dust. "I have been patient," she continued. "I have waited, I have allowed you to choose distance, I have allowed you to choose closeness, but now I must ask plainly." Her eyes locked onto mine, silver blue, bright and unyielding. "What do you want from me?" I forgot how to breathe. She stepped even closer, her chest nearly touching mine. "Do you want partnership, companionship, curiosity? Attraction, all of these? None. I require your truth, human." The resonance in the chamber pulsed once, twice, waiting. My pulse matched it. "I want." My throat tightened. "Kaethira, I want you." The symbols around us glowed brighter. "I want your company, your curiosity, your attention, your laugh, your everything." A breath, and it scares me to death. Kaethira inhaled sharply, not in offense, but in something that looked dangerously like relief. "You fear what you feel." She asked gently. "I fear messing this up," I admitted. "I fear being too obvious, too awkward, too human. I fear wanting someone I have no right to want." She frowned. "Who told you that you had no right?" "I mean, you." I gestured vaguely at her entire being. "And I'm just me." Kaethira reached out and placed her palm against my chest, directly over my racing heartbeat. "You," she said, "are not just anything." The resonance pulsed again, stronger, responding to the emotional spike between us. Her voice softened. "And I choose you." I blinked. "What?" She stepped closer, her forehead nearly touching mine. "I choose your honesty, your nervousness. Your mind that lights up when you speak of ancient stars. I choose the way you drop things when I approach. I choose the way you look at me when you think I am not watching." Her lips curved faintly. "I choose all of it." The chamber brightened again, symbols shimmering like constellations coming alive. "And you," she whispered, "do you choose me?" There was no universe in which I could lie. Not here, not with the chamber humming with emotional truth. "Yes," I said, voice raw, "I choose you." The resonance rippled outward like a warm wave, surrounding us, soft, powerful, undeniable. Kaethira's eyes softened. Her hand slid from my chest up to my jaw, fingers light but trembling slightly. "That," she said, "was the clarity I sought." I didn't realize I'd leaned in until my forehead gently touched her. We didn't speak on the walk back to the main chambers, not because it was awkward, but because the air between us felt new. Not lighter, not heavier, just different, charged as if the chamber of resonance had rewired the gravitational laws between us and the universe was politely choosing not to interfere. Kaethira walked ahead for a moment, then slowed so I could fall into step beside her. Our shoulders brushed once, twice. After the third time, she didn't bother pretending it was accidental. When we reached the central corridor, she stopped abruptly. I almost collided with her again. "Human," she said, turning to face me directly. I corrected her automatically. "You know you can call me by my name." "I am aware." "But you won't." Her ears tilted in amusement. "Not yet." "Why not yet?" "Because when I say human," she murmured, stepping closer, "you react." I did react, internally, externally, spiritually, possibly medically. Kaethira seemed extremely satisfied with this. She gestured toward the exit. Come, there is a surface platform where I take my evening survey reports. The atmosphere fields are active tonight. I want you to see the planetary rings. You're inviting me to the roof. Yes, that feels like not a professional invitation. It is not. My heart executed a stunt so dramatic it deserved its own insurance policy. We climbed the narrow ascent tunnel and emerged onto a circular platform overlooking the dig site. The shield dome shimmered overhead, parting the sky into bands of violet and deep black. The twin planetary rings cut across the horizon like luminous blades, blue, silver, and fragments of drifting crystal dust. I had seen beautiful things in my life. This wasn't one of them. This was something else entirely, sacred, breathtaking, unreal. Kaethira watched me, not the sky. You are quiet, she said. I'm processing, I whispered. Processing what? All of this, I said, gesturing helplessly toward the rings. And all of this. I motioned at the space between us. Kaethira stepped closer until her shoulder brushed mine. You are allowed to process, she said softly. Not everything must be decided in one moment. But some things were, I said, thinking of the chamber, the resonance, the truth neither of us could hide. Yes, she said quietly, some things were. She folded her hands behind her back, a Vehlorian habit when nervous. I have something else to ask. I braced myself, okay. When the resonance amplified your words, she said, you said you chose me. Heat prickled up the back of my neck. I did. And you said it frightened you. I did that too. She hesitated for a long, careful breath. Are you frightened now? I considered the question honestly. Was I frightened of her? No, not anymore, but I was frightened of what she represented, someone extraordinary choosing someone ordinary. Someone with centuries choosing someone with decades. Someone used to control choosing vulnerability. But fear wasn't the whole truth. I'm not frightened of you, I said. I'm frightened of wanting something I might lose too soon. Kaethira inhaled slowly, then exhaled as if releasing something she'd held for far too long. I have lived 2 centuries, she said, and in that time I have chosen safety over connection. I have chosen power over presence. Longevity over living. Her voice softened. I do not wish to choose that anymore. I swallowed, so what are you choosing? She reached out, hesitant, careful, and took my hand. Quality over quantity, she said softly. Presence over safety, you. The word hit me like gravity shifting. You're sure? I whispered. Yes, I do not know how long your life will intersect with mine, but I know that in the time we have I want truth, clarity, proximity. Shared existence, whatever form it takes. My voice cracked, Kaethira. She stepped closer, so close the rings reflected in her eyes. I choose temporary brilliance, she said, over eternal solitude. Her thumb brushed my knuckles. I choose the finite because it matters more. The shield dome shimmered above us like a living aurora. And I realized something then, something terrifying and beautiful and overwhelming. She wasn't choosing someone beneath her. She was choosing someone who saw her, not her throne, not her lineage, not her power, just her. I squeezed her hand. I want all of this, I said, even if it scares me, even if it's complicated, even if we trip over cultural rituals, and I drop every tool in your presence. Her eyes warmed. You will. I absolutely will. And I will continue standing close when you do, she replied. That's a threat. That is a promise. We stood in silence for a moment, our fingers intertwined, our breaths visible in the shield's cool ambient air, the rings stretching above us like painted constellations. Kaethira turned toward me, voice low. There is one more truth, she said. What is it? When you entered this project, I did not expect you. Expect me how? To matter. That broke something open inside me. A warning, I said quietly. Yes. If you look at me like that again, I'm going to do something extremely unprofessional. Her lips curved. Then perhaps I should look at you like that again. And then she did. I leaned in. She leaned in. We met in the middle. The kiss wasn't dramatic or overpowering. It wasn't cosmic or ancient or ceremonial. It was simple, warm, human.